It's time for the dynamic duo presented by Mass Mutual, planning and protection for those who matter most on and off the ice. And I would say these two matter most for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Stamkos and Brayden Point, each with 3 points in their big shutout victory in Carolina. If the Tampa Bay Lightning are indeed going to make noise and try to get back to the Cup final for a 4th consecutive year, it's going to be because of these two.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because they don't always play together 5-on-5. John Cooper switching the lines up, giving different looks right now. Usually it's been Kucherov in Point most of this year. Stamkos getting some 5-on-5 time with Point against Carolina. But Point is the engine, and even Steve Stamkos like, I'll jump on your back. I'll ride you all the way to the points and the wins and far in the playoffs again, because we know Stammer can still create offensively. He certainly can shoot, but Brayden Point is really the driver of the 5-on-5 offense for Tampa, and he was spectacular in this game against Carolina. Yeah, you might see them obviously playing together more often now if they're going to be +3 and 3 points in a big game against a tough opponent too. But we mentioned earlier just a quiet 47 goals for Brayden Point in the season. How could there be such a thing? Somehow it is. It is. When you're Tampa Bay, you can have a quiet 47 goal scorer. And he's an unassuming person around. When you get around that team, he's obviously a superstar in the league. And yet, he is an unassuming presence. When you go in the room, no one's gathering on him. They're gathering to Hedman and Vasilevsky and Stamkos and everyone else. That's how you get a quiet 47. And then I guess that's why he gets a quiet 47. But his play is speaking volumes right now. He's been excellent all year. And what a milestone year for Steven Stamkos, right? We saw him hit the 500-goal mark. We saw him hit the 1,000-point mark. And we're about to see him play his 1,000th NHL game. He is 5 games away from doing that. And we have, I think, 7 left in the season for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So assuming he plays the rest of the season, he'll have another very special moment. And he's still got so much left in the tank. I remember thinking... How many more does he need? 5? He needs 5. Oh, okay, sorry. It wasn't updated. So 4. After tonight, he needs 4 more. Okay. Who's so going to come against? I'm just looking at, because his last 3 games of the year... No, it'll come against the Islanders if he plays the rest of this week. Because I'm not sure. Tampa's second last game is Toronto. Yeah. Last game is Detroit. And I'm not sure how much their players play in those games if they don't matter. If Toronto's already clinched second place, I don't know if they want that second last game. A lot of people might think, oh, it's Toronto. Send a message. Yeah. Win, whatever, affect the confidence. I don't know if Tampa wants that. I think Tampa, I get the sense being around that team that they're more interested, like, you know what? We'll just wait. Feel good about yourself. We don't want that to turn into some sort of crazy physical game. Like, don't worry about it. We know who we are in the playoffs. We don't have to prove anything. We'll just get you in game 1. I don't even know if he'd play in that kind of game. And it always depends, too. Some teams, some coaches, some players like to do it differently. Maybe miss the second last game, play the last one, or play, minimal minutes in the last game. I remember my first year with Minnesota, we finally clinched playoffs, and they were set, and we were playing St. Louis in the first round, and our last game of the year was against St. Louis. Yeah. And nobody really knew what was going to happen. It was like, are guys just going to run around and try to kill each other, like try to hurt each other for the playoffs? Is everyone going to tiptoe around out there and try not to get hurt? I only played half the game, and it was kind of weird, and it ended up being everybody tiptoed around out there and nobody tried to get hurt. But I was really unsure. I mean, you could easily have both teams go out there and try to run each other through the boards to get an advantage in the first round, and so you don't know how it's going to play out in those last games. On the flip side, does Toronto play all of its players? No. Okay. I think Toronto. Once it's set, they're going to give guys breaks. I think that, and I think Toronto would be inclined to go physical because Tampa, aside from their top 4 players, have all their entire roster doesn't mind playing chippy and physical. Yeah. I think they are very a physical team. So I think Toronto would kind of want to protect themselves. Marner out, Matthews out, Tavares out. And then say, you know what, Wayne Simmons, you can play. We'll bring up some guys from the minors. And, just in case, we need some deterrence in here in case things get excitable. So we'll see. But, the fact that Stamkos has more than 1,000 points and has yet to play 1,000 games, there are so few players that are even at the 500-game mark who average more than a point a game. There's probably 8 in the league. Yeah. Now, a lot of them play for Edmonton. But it's just hard to do. So to get to 1,000 and still be over a point a game, Hall of Fame career for Steve Stamkos. Absolutely. All right, quick timeout here on NHL Tonight. Still much more to come, including updates from overtime in St. Louis. Stay tuned.
Dynamic duos presented by Mass Mutual. Planning and protection for those who matter most on and off the ice.